Hey everybody, let's talk about your visit to the neurologist. When should you see a brain doctor anyway? I mean, there are so many symptoms. We could be here all day long talking about the brain and the spine and the symptoms, but let's name a few. Maybe you've been having a headache, and not just that I'm hangry headache. I'm talking about a nagging, pounding headache that will not go away. I mean, it's gotten you pounded down, you're missing work. It's terrible. Perhaps you're feeling numbness of your fingertips. Maybe there's a band of numbness right around your belly. Strange, right? Perhaps you're weak. Maybe you try to comb your hair and you can't get the brush above your shoulder, or perhaps your legs are weak and your walking just isn't what it used to be anymore. Perhaps you're dizzy and the room is spinning and spinning and spinning and it just won't stop. Or maybe even you got some shakes, what we call tremor. You put your hands in the air and you're tremoring, you try to pick up that cup of water and you spill it every time. These symptoms can be distressing. Well, there's that. And the other end of the spectrum are those who have a medical condition and now there's a brain complication as a result of it. What do I mean by that? Well, for instance, diabetes. Diabetes can cause nerve damage, and so after time, you may start to experience some really burning and really painful pins and needles at the bottom of your feet. Perhaps you have high blood pressure, and unfortunately, you've had a brain bleed because of it. Or maybe even an autoimmune condition like lupus, or perhaps even HIV, and after years and years of treatment, you're starting to experience memory loss. And so some of us are having symptoms that we're curious about, and others of us are actually having a brain complication of a medical disease. And so how do we get that referral to a neurologist? Well, your family doctor, your primary care physician. I love my PCPs because they're the funnel, they're the first line of defense for all your health needs. And if they think you should see one, you definitely should see one. Okay, so you've got to your visit now. What do we do? My first set of advice is please bring your questions first. I mean, you ever been to a doctor's office and you have a little visit, you answer a couple questions and you kind of get a little plan going and it's time to go. And you say, oh doc, I got a couple questions. And the doctor's like, nah, too late. How about next time? I don't want that to happen to you. What I want you to do is bring your questions first and start the visit off the right way and say, hey doc, before we start, I got about 5, 10, 15 questions I have to ask you. I mean, whatever it might be, start first. It'll be well received. You can get those questions asked, answered, and addressed and get the visit going the right way. Second, please bring your previous test results. I mean, if you've been to Alaska or Timbuktu, maybe China or Japan or India, and you've got some lab results, you've got a brain scan like an MRI or a CT scan, please bring it with you. And we love to see the actual pictures. And so if you got that old school CD-ROM that they give you, or a disc, or maybe a digital image, please bring all these things with you because seeing it will help us to make that visit very productive. And finally, bring a friend or a family member, whoever that may be. I mean, there may have been someone who was there to witness your symptoms, or at the very most, they'll be able to be with you during that visit. They can help you remember what the doctor said and also help you process what's going on. Maybe they can even help describe your symptoms for you. And so I always recommend bringing someone to be there with you at that time. Now, during the visit, you know we're going to actually have a good conversation and get a detailed exam and history. But neurologists love that history so much. I mean, we love just digging into the details and being a little detective. And so we want to know the exact symptoms. And so I advise you, jot down some notes before you come and bring it with you. If you must read it, go for it. I mean, it may be that on July 14th in 1957, my left pinky toe was numb. Bring that. We love to hear the story. We love to hear the symptoms and exactly how they've changed over time because that can really help us lead to a right diagnosis. Okay, then there's the exam. We're not going to just listen to your heartbeat from a distance. We want to get right up close and personal with you. You may see some of us carry certain types of bags, one like this, and it's full of tools. I mean, we got all types of tricks in that bag. We love to hit folks with hammers, shine bright lights in their face, yell real loud, and make them get up and walk. I mean, so many things that we do in the exam will help us figure out exactly what's going on with you. And I didn't forget, many of us these days are doing video visits, right? A lot of telehealth. And so my advice to you for seeing a neurologist versus on the video is please wear some pants. Absolutely. I mean, we're going to ask you to get up and walk around in your own home. And so not be driving, not be eating, be somewhere you can be still, and we can actually get up and walk. And so you don't want to have that embarrassing moment where it's like, let me pause the video, go go put some pants on real quick and come right back, because we love to see all about you, how you move, how you walk, how you think. And so wear some pants. Finally, I'm asking you all to be great listeners and great advocates. If you've come with your questions, they've been answered, you had a great exam, you brought some test results, and the person was truly listening to your complaint, then I'm asking you to trust them. I'm asking you to hear their assessment out. I mean, doing the exam and getting your history will help us figure out if there's a brain problem at all. But at the same time, I want you also to be an advocate. You may be having symptoms that have been ignored or unheard or just persistent, and you may need more testing. And so be a listener, but also be an advocate. I hope you never have to see a neurologist, but if you do, hope today's video has been helpful to you. And this has been From My Brain to Yours.